I hope everyone's trip here was better than Ricky's, popping a tire on the way here. But we made a pseudo arcade machine. Basically, we just converted my personal desk from home into this neat little arcade machine that works off of a Raspberry Pi and some buttons that we install into it. I'm actually gonna very quickly pass it off to Devin so he can explain the Raspberry Pi and how he got all the games and stuff on it.
So I did most of the programming for the Raspberry Pi itself, installing the games, installing the splash screens, that kind of stuff. It was quite a process, but like most things on the internet, somebody's already done it. So you just have to find where they showed that they did it and kind of work off that. A lot of things is fix it as you go. A lot of our games that we still have on there don't work with this program. So we've just got to go through, test every one, figure out the ones that don't work, fix that. We've got hundreds of games on there, maybe even close to 1,000. I spent 3 hours straight individually downloading games, so there should be plenty of time playing this game without getting bored ever.
Tell me a little bit about the OS.
The Raspberry Pi operating system is actually preloaded. You don't have to do anything on that. You just have to download it onto the SD card given, and it'll do that all for you. It's got every emulator already on there, and you just have to find your games, find your screens that you want to put on there, put them in the right folder, and you've got it all already.
Tell me a little bit about how it came together, wiring, buttons, stuff like that.
Oh,
That would be Corbin.
Okay, gotcha. So there's no
Pause for a second.
left in fight.
No, he's gonna go next now.
Oh, mine?
Yeah.
Okay. Fully swapped then. Okay. So as for the button layout, a lot of the issue was finding proper size holes to fit all the buttons in. So we spent a lot of time finding proper drill holes and different things for the for the drill. This is my first time using a drill, so I had to practice a bit. We ended up not having the right size ones, so we ended up having to buy an entire kit of drill bits to drill the proper holes. But once we got sorted out, the rest was no problem. Well, one of the other issues was that we had to code each of the buttons, and we weren't sure what buttons went to where. But that ended up not taking too much time at all. Yeah, the buttons went pretty swiftly. Ordering the buttons was an issue. Anything else to go for that?
No, now it's gonna be Zach.
Yeah, that's all I got for the buttons.
When we first started this, we were gonna use a 3D printed mount to mount to the monitor, or to mount to the desk. Sorry, and it worked for a little bit, and then one day it had like a fault line down here, so I ended up using PLA and a soldering gun to weld it together to make it stand again. But we ended up using a different monitor because we couldn't figure out how to
Turn it on.
Yeah, turn it on. Then I was gonna do a lacquer and a wood dye to make it look about the same colors with just a different look, and we decided that it would be easier just to spray paint, and I think the colors turned out nice. Okay.
Alright.
Some of the mounting and stuff.
So we also mounted the motherboards and the controller boards underneath the desk itself, so that way they would be nice and out of the way and it'd look really clean. We mounted the Raspberry Pi on top, so that way if there's any sort of troubleshooting that needs to go on, we can just very easily like plug in what we need or unplug what we need on top. It's perfectly mounted there, so like move, you want to move it, just pick up the desk. It's not going to slide off or anything, so there's no worry about that.
That's also where our emergency stop button is, right in the back.
Yep. Now, we actually did have a bit more aspirations with this other than what we have here. I'm really happy with what we have, but we actually wanted to have a monitor lift up. Like, we wanted a hidden monitor and then a robotic system to lift it up. Unfortunately, we had to cut it due to either poor designing by me or just the inability of the motors to actually get it to lift the monitor. Went through like 8 designs, 4 different designs, got to practical testing, all of which just kind of broke down and didn't work. So we ended up having to settle with what we got, but ultimately very happy with what we got. Thank you for your time. Glad everyone could listen, and really happy with where we ended up with this project.